Have you ever noticed how the same woman who once ignored your calls, brushed off your affection, or flat out rejected you, suddenly comes back when you least expect it? What if I told you that her return isn't random, it's psychological, predictable, and more about her own mind than anything you ever did wrong? Welcome back to Psychology Insight, the channel where we uncover the hidden truths behind human behavior and relationships. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most confusing and honestly most frustrating dynamics in dating. Why do women come back after rejecting you? If you've ever wondered why she's suddenly liking your posts, replying to your stories, or just checking in after you already accepted her rejection, you're about to understand the psychology behind it. Let's break down the real reasons so you can move forward with clarity, confidence, and no more second guessing. 1. The power shift. Why rejection isn't the end. Rejection feels like the closing chapter. She said no, she lost interest, she ghosted you, and you're left thinking it's over. But here's the twist most men never realize. Rejection isn't always final in a woman's mind. Sometimes it's the beginning of a psychological game she doesn't even know she's playing. When you get rejected and you walk away without drama, begging, or bitterness, you flip the script. Most guys chase, plead, or spiral when they feel rejected. But when you don't, when you keep your dignity, keep your silence, and refuse to flinch, you become an outlier in her emotional world. That shift is subtle but powerful. What was once a power imbalance starts to level. Because women are deeply intuitive, they notice when a man doesn't fold after rejection. And it sparks something: curiosity, doubt, mystery. Think of it like this. If a salesperson walks away after you say no, it creates space for you to start rethinking your decision. Maybe I said no too quickly. Maybe I missed something. The same thing happens when a woman senses that her rejection didn't derail you. That calm confidence, that silent withdrawal disrupts her expectations. It makes her wonder what she lost. Rejection in that case doesn't close the book. It leaves an open tab in her emotional memory. And as time passes, especially if you grow, evolve, or succeed without her, her perception starts to shift from "he wasn't it" to "what if I was wrong?" Women don't come back when you try to force them. They come back when you stop trying at all. When you stop giving them control over your emotional state. That's what creates mystery. And mystery creates attraction. So the next time you get rejected, don't see it as a defeat. See it as a test of polarity. If you hold your ground, stay grounded, and refuse to react, you flip the dynamic. And often, that's exactly when she starts inching her way back. 2. Validation. Withdrawal. The silent addiction. Let's talk about something that affects women more than they'll ever admit. Validation withdrawal. Here's the truth. When you were pursuing her, texting her good morning, complimenting her smile, or showing up in her DMs with consistency, you weren't just chasing love. You were feeding her emotional ego. You became a supplier of attention, admiration, and self-affirmation. Whether or not she liked you romantically, your presence served a purpose. And when you vanish after rejection, that supply chain gets cut off. Suddenly, she's not getting your likes, your comments, your good morning texts. She may not even want you, but she misses how you made her feel. That feeling of being desired, adored, wanted, it's a psychological high. And like any high, when it disappears, withdrawal kicks in. That withdrawal isn't always conscious. She might not say to herself, "I miss his attention," but she'll feel it in the silence, in the absence, in the little moments when no one else is giving her the same energy. That's when she starts to question, to wonder, to come back. This is especially true in today's digital age, where women receive constant low-level validation. Likes, comments, emojis, attention. But here's the kicker. Not all validation is created equal. Yours may have stood out. Maybe you weren't just another guy saying you're hot. Maybe you were authentic, attentive, funny, different. And when that's gone, it stings in ways she didn't expect. So, when she reaches back out, don't be surprised if it feels shallow or vague. "Hey, how have you been? Saw something that reminded me of you." That's not love. That's the sound of someone checking if the faucet of validation still works. You have to be careful here. Not every return is a redemption arc, Sometimes it's just a woman trying to reclaim the attention she used to get from you without offering anything deeper. Know the difference and never become her emotional ATM again. 3. Grass isn't greener syndrome. You've heard the phrase, the grass is always greener on the other side, right? In dating, this mentality can lead to some of the most self-sabotaging decisions people make, especially women who think they have endless options. A woman might reject you not because you weren't good enough, but because she thought she could do better. Maybe someone else was showing interest. Maybe she was swayed by the illusion of choice. Or maybe she just wasn't in the headspace to value what you were offering. But here's the kicker. Once she steps out into the dating market, she begins to experience reality. The charming guy she chose over you turns out to be flaky. The attention from others is surface level. The conversations lack depth. Suddenly, the better she was chasing begins to feel empty, unfulfilling, transactional, and that's when she starts to reflect. Not always out of deep regret, but out of emotional comparison. She remembers how you made her laugh, how you listened, how you made her feel safe or seen. And she realizes you weren't just one of many, you were different. This realization doesn't always hit fast. It can take weeks or even months. Sometimes it hits when she's lying awake at night scrolling through photos, or when she sees you moving on, smiling, leveling up. The grass isn't always greener. And once she realizes the cost of rejecting a man with real value, she may come back. Not always with an apology, but with curiosity, a test text, a subtle re-entry. Hey stranger, don't be flattered, be focused. When she returns, it doesn't necessarily mean she's changed. It may just mean her options have run dry, and that's a decision you have to make. Are you still the man she rejected? Or are you now the man she doesn't deserve? 4. Social proof and scarcity, the law of demand. Here's a harsh but fascinating psychological truth. Your value in a woman's eyes increases dramatically when other women want you or when you're no longer readily available to her. This is called the social proof effect, and it's one of the most powerful unconscious motivators in female psychology. Imagine this. She rejected you, maybe thought you were too into her, too easy, or just didn't see the full picture of who you were. But now, weeks or months later, she hears from a mutual friend that you're seeing someone. Or she scrolls through your Instagram and sees another woman in your story. Or maybe you've just leveled up, new style, new job, more confident vibe. Suddenly, the man she dismissed looks different. Not because you changed drastically, but because the perception of you changed. You've now become scarce, wanted, validated by others. And that flips a psychological switch. This is deeply embedded in evolutionary psychology. Throughout history, women have subconsciously sought out men who are desired by others. It's a survival instinct. If others want you, you must have value. If others compete for your attention, you must be a high-status male. Add to this the concept of scarcity. When something is no longer easily accessible, we crave it more. The attention she once took for granted is gone. Your time, once freely given, now belongs to someone else, or worse, to yourself. That's when she starts to circle back. Maybe casually, maybe subtly, maybe under the guise of just checking in. But make no mistake, she feels the scarcity and it's making her curious again. The important thing? Don't let that curiosity manipulate you, because sometimes she's not coming back for love. She's coming back to see if she still could have you, to test her own desirability, to measure her options. You need to stay grounded here. Remember, her return might say more about her ego than your worth. Respond with strength, not desperation. Because the more you make yourself scarce to the wrong people, the more desirable you become to the right ones. 5. Emotional uncertainty and regret. Emotions aren't static. They change with time, circumstances, and reflection. A woman might have rejected you in a moment of pride, confusion, or fear. But rejection made in emotional impulse often carries the seed of regret. And that regret doesn't bloom overnight. It grows in silence. In those quiet moments when she's alone scrolling through her memories. Maybe it's a night she can't sleep. Maybe she sees an old photo. Or maybe someone mentions your name unexpectedly, and suddenly a flood of emotions comes rushing in. What she once pushed away now feels like something she lost. This is where emotional uncertainty kicks in. She begins to wonder if she made the right decision. And because she hasn't been able to fully replace you, either emotionally or experientially, she starts to second guess herself. Psychology refers to this as cognitive dissonance, when your current emotional state contradicts a past decision. If she rejected you thinking it would bring relief or clarity, but instead feels discomfort or longing, her brain looks for ways to reconcile that gap. That's when she may initiate contact again, not because she's certain about you, but because she's uncertain about herself. Sometimes it's a breadcrumb message, just thought of you text. Other times, it's full-blown nostalgia. Do you ever think about us? These moments are real, but they may not always be rooted in lasting love. You must assess whether it's true regret or temporary emotional confusion. Because you're not just someone she used to know, you're someone her mind is now debating about. Be wise. Let her prove whether her return is based on clarity or just curiosity. 6. Testing the waters for change. Sometimes when a woman comes back, it's not because she regrets rejecting you. It's because she wants to see who you've become after she did. Here's the reality. Women watch. Even after they ghost you, reject you, or push you away, many don't completely walk away emotionally. They watch from afar, through social media, through mutual friends, through silence. And when she sees that you've changed, maybe you've leveled up physically, emotionally, spiritually, it triggers her curiosity. She starts wondering, did I underestimate him? Is he still the same guy I left behind, or did he grow into something better? This is called reevaluation mode. And women do it when they suspect they might have missed out on a man who is now becoming the best version of himself. And let's be honest, sometimes when you were pursuing her, you weren't your best. Maybe you were needy, too eager, too focused on her instead of your mission. That energy can turn women off. But the moment you shift that energy back toward yourself, your goals, your body, your mindset, it becomes magnetic. She might test the waters with small gestures, viewing your stories consistently, liking old photos, DMing a vague, "How's life?" message. It's subtle, but it's her way of scanning the temperature without fully jumping in. Here's what you need to remember. She's not just testing you, she's testing the new you. And that means you must stand firm. Don't revert to the man you were when she left. Don't act eager or available. Let her earn a seat at your new table. Because if she rejected you once, she needs to come back with more than curiosity. She needs to come back with clarity, consistency, and change. 7. The ego rescue, wanting to be wanted. This one is subtle but dangerous. Some women come back not out of love, but out of ego. When you were chasing her, she felt powerful, desired, in control. But once you accepted her rejection and disappeared, that emotional power she held, gone. And for some women, that loss stings more than they expected. So what do? They come back, not because they want you, but because they need to know they still could have you. It's not about rekindling the relationship. It's about rescuing their ego. These women will flirt, breadcrumbs, send mixed signals, and even act affectionate, not because they love you, but because they're asking one question: do I still have power over him? It's a dangerous trap. You start thinking she's changed, that she finally sees your worth. But in reality, she just wants reassurance that she's still wanted. And the moment you give her that validation, she vanishes again. Mission accomplished. This is why you must watch her actions, not her words. Does she initiate real connection? Does she take accountability? Does she make consistent effort over time? If not, her return is a game, a psychological itch she wants to scratch, nothing more. Don't let her ego feed on your progress. Keep your standards high, your self-respect higher. And remember, you're not here to rescue her pride. 8. Genuine change of heart. Let's be fair, not every woman who comes back is And their return isn't based on ego or regret, but on growth. People change. Life teaches hard lessons, and sometimes distance gives clarity that closeness never could. Maybe she rejected you because she was emotionally unavailable. Maybe she was influenced by others. Maybe she didn't understand what you truly brought to the table. But after time, weeks, months, even years, she comes back with more than a hey. She comes back with accountability. I was wrong. I see your worth now. I wasn't ready back then, but I am now. These aren't just words. They're signs of emotional maturity. When a woman returns like this, listen carefully, not to the sweetness, but to the sincerity. Is she willing to have uncomfortable conversations? Is she showing you effort, not just affection? Is she willing to rebuild, not just reconnect? A genuine change of heart isn't about fixing the past, it's about earning a place in your present. And if she does that through actions, consistency, and vulnerability, then maybe, just maybe, her return is real. But don't decide based on hope. Decide based on evidence. Because you've changed too. And not every woman deserves to meet the man you've become. So the next time she comes back after rejecting you, don't rush to respond. Don't rush to believe. And definitely don't rush to forgive. Because not all returns are built on love. Some are built on ego, regret, or loneliness. Your job isn't to decode her every move. It's to stay rooted in your value. Because when a man knows who he is, no rejection can shake him, and no comeback can blind him. If this video brought you clarity or insight, do 3 things right now. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and drop a comment below. Have you ever had a woman come back after rejecting you? What did you do? Welcome to Psychology Insight, where we decode female behavior one truth at a time.